Continuing the topic of data types, let's make a quick recap about data and objects. As per general knowledge, a variable is always assigned a value. The same holds true for objects also. When a data is created, its creation depends on whether the value has been assigned or not. So that variable is said as an object. So whichsoever the object, it bears an address in memory and stores a value, and the data name basically stores the reference to that particular object. Now for every object there are few terms. It has an identity, that means the address where it is stored in memory. Then there's a value which is stored by it. Now depending on the value which is stored, it has a data type also. If it is an integer value, then data type is integer. If it's a float type value, then the data type is float. Similarly, if you want to know the data type of the object or the data, then we can make use of a function especially named as constructor, which creates the object or the data. And what is special about constructor is the name of the constructor function is the same as that of data type. If we are talking about integer data, then the name of constructor is int. If we are talking about complex type, then the constructor name is complex. If we are talking about list, then the constructor name is list, and so on. There's a constructor to create a data of every data type. After understanding the relevance between data and object and the importance of object with reference to whether we can define the data or variable as mutable or not, let's go on to the different data types which are of mutable category. We'll always remember that if the object could be reassigned a value without creating it, then it will be said as mutable one. That means if without creating the data, recreating the data, there will not be any need of memory allocation for a new object, and the same data could be assigned or same object could be assigned a new value, then this will be said as a mutable one. So there are three data types which belong to this category or this type. These are dictionaries, sets, and lists. We'll start with the dictionaries. Dictionary is an unordered set of finite number of key value pairs. We say finite number because they are fixed in as how many pairs will be there in the dictionary. It might be empty, or it might be having 100 or 500 or 1000, but this will be finite figure. And next is the key which will be used in the pairs, in the different pairs of each of the dictionary. Each of that key in the same dictionary will be unique because it has to be used for identification of the value of its pair. Similarly, about if we say how they are different with lists and strings, these are unordered. Why we say unordered? Because in lists and strings, the member positions or the members in the list or string, they could be traced or located with the help of index positions. Here we make use of the keys in subscript to index the values. That makes the difference. So dictionaries are not ordered, rather they are unordered set. Now let's see how the different dictionaries can be created, or which are the different ways. So the first example of creation is, it's an empty dictionary. It's an empty set of curly braces. You need to remember curly bracket will be used for creating dictionaries. Fine. Next example, the second example, we can see here Jovan dictionary has been created, and in the curly braces there are keys and there are values, every key in the pair holds a relevant value for all. So the first pair, if I talk about, it's a combination of key A and value manager. Similarly, there's a second pair and B engineer, a third pair with key C and value engineer, and the last pair here uh, combines with a key D having a relevance with the value workman. So when I was speaking about that the keys will be used for indexing the values, that means A will be used for indexing manager, B will be used for engineer, and so on, one by one, for the for indexing of different values keys will be used. Now another way of creating dictionaries, this is by making use of constructor. As already known, a constructor is a function, a special function which has the same name as that of data type. Since here the data type is dictionary, so the name of the constructor will be a relevant one, that is dict. So we'll be making use of dict function, and since it's a function, it will be taking or making use of arguments for creation of dictionaries. Now let's see the example, the third example here. uh, Here a job dictionary has been created, and the dict function has been used here. Now this dict function makes use of arguments. The arguments in it are 4 pairs. Now we can see the way of writing these pairs. The first pair is combination of a key equals to its relevant value. The second, B, is the key with its relevant value engineer, and then the third one, and then the fourth one. Now another one is here, while passing the arguments, each of the pair, key value pair, is differentiated from the other one with a comma. Like, I mean to say, if I'm talking about the first argument, the second argument is segmented with the help of a comma. This is what I was talking about. There's a comma in between the first pair and the second pair. This one, there's a comma. Similarly, there's a comma here between the second and the third one. There's a comma we can see, and the third comma is between the blue pair and the green pair, and each pair I have specified in different colors so that we can clearly understand it. Now this is one way of making use of dict constructor. There is another way also of using the same dict constructor and passing arguments, and there also will be making use of the pairs, but there another difference will be, I have pointed out with the help of arrows here. Now that is in the fifth example. If you see here, again we have pairs. Here a title dictionary has been created. The first pair is a tuple, and the pair is T1 and T1 key, and the value is MR. Similarly, the second pair, it is again a tuple, and the key and value stands here also. In the third tuple, I have keys T3 and Shri. So these have been passed here, and these have been passed in a list, means the 3 arguments, the 3 tuples have been passed in a list, and we can see here the square bracket, the bracket used for list. So the 3 tuples have been passed in the dict function. This is another way of creating the dictionary by using the dict constructor And the difference between the first example of using dict function and this one is there we had the key value pairs without tuples, and here we have key value pairs in tuples. Now another example, the fourth one here, a job, we can see here a job dictionary has been created by using dict function. Now here what has been done, one set stands for the keys and the other set stands for the values. We can see here the first set, now this set is a group of 4 keys. Now another set here, that's a group of 4 values. We can see the 4 values, manager, engineer, in charge and workman, and both of these sets are segmented with a comma. Now to make use for creating a dictionary in this purpose, we'll be using a zip function. You can see here I have passed these two sets ABCD and the other set manager, engineer, in charge, workman in the argument section of a zip function. So zip function will relate A with manager, B with engineer, C with in charge and D with workman, and 4 pairs will be created. The first pair with key A, value manager, second pair with key B and value engineer, the third pair with key C and value in charge, and the last D key with value workman. So this is another way of creating a dictionary with the help of dict function, where in the argument section of the constructor we have called the zip function itself, and the zip function makes use of 2 sets, the first set of all keys and the second set of all values. So this was another way of creating the dictionaries. Now example of mutable categories set, where the elements, the members inside the group can not be duplicated. That means there cannot be a duplicate copy of any of the element there. The members can be any of the immutable category. That means though a set allows modification, mutation, but the member elements should not belong to a mutable category. They should be immutable ones only. Means they can be strings, they can be integers, they can be floats, but like they cannot be list, because lists are mutable and they are not allowed here. So only immutable elements can be there in the set, and again there should not be any duplicate members. Now to declare or to create any set, we again make use of curly brackets like dictionaries, but unlike them we don't have pairs here. We have independent member elements or items for sets. Here I have taken an example of X set which has been created in curly bracket. The various member elements are item 1, item 2, item 3, item 4. To take care again, all of these are immutable. They are not at all repeated or duplicated. They are different from each other. But here, unlike dictionaries, we don't have pair combination, key value combination like we had for dictionary. Now let's take some examples. This is a homogeneous combination to create a dictionary set X, where all the member items are strings. So when we'll check these will be displayed. We can make use of a set function to create a dictionary, to create a set. If we call a set and pass a string, here the argument is a string which is immutable. So what will happen? The string will be broken into member elements for creating a set. Now a set will be created. Unlike the argument which was passed to set function, there are only three characters here, three items here, because the rest of the string members, string characters, they are duplicated. We can see here ACB, B, AC. So A having one appearance, C having second appearance, B having the third appearance, and afterwards there are no members because they have already been listed to create the set. If we take an example of heterogeneous members in the set, so I mean by heterogeneous that they can be of any data type, but any data type doesn't mean they should not be of mutable category. Now here in example, to create X, all these members which have been passed as items to the set, all of these are immutable ones. 2, 2.01, a string, and a tuple at the last, and all of these are immutable. So a set named X will be created as being shown here. Let's go on to the next category of mutable ones. The third data type, which is also a mutable one, is lists. It's again a sequence of data types, and there can be members of any type inside its list. We make use of square brackets, unlike curly brackets which were used for dictionaries and sets for creating lists. We have taken some examples. The values in the list are mutable, that means they can be changed by making use of index positions. So we have taken some example to create the list. Here list 1, it's being created and having 4 members in it, 1 2 3 4. So it's a list of 4 integer type elements because only 4 integers have been passed. Another example is list 2, where 4 strings have been passed as members for its creation. List 3 has been created as a empty one. We can see here because the square bracket holds no value, so it's a empty list. Then list 4, if we talk about list 4, it again have 3 members and one is string, the rest 2 are integers. List 5 has a special property, it's a nested list because one of the members inside itself is a list. 1 2 are integers, the third member inside list 5 is itself a list. We can check it, square brackets, and the members in square bracket are 6 7 8, and the last member in the LST5 is 3. In real terms, the number of elements in LST5 list are 3. 1 2 sorry 4, 1 2 a list, and at the last 3. So there are 4 members in LST5 because the third member is a list. 1 2 3 are integers and the third member is a list. So total number of elements in list 5, there are 4. Few other examples. A list has been created named as my list. Then we are making use of a constructor to create a list. See, there's a data assigned a value India, it's a string type data, and we are passing this name string to list constructor to create a LST6 list. When we'll write this, we'll call the list constructor to create the list. The list 6 will be holding the different characters of the string India as independent members. the members will be I and D I E as independent characters. So that's how LST6 has been created. And LST7, it makes use of L1, and in subscript the square brackets only a colon symbol. So colon symbol is used basically for range specification. So LST7 will be a copy of L1. All the members of L1 list will be used to create LST7. Similarly, to create LST8, L1 has been used, but the range is specified 0:2. So only first two members of L1 will be used to create LST8. Then the last list, LST9, it makes use of range function. So say the argument is n. If the value of n is 5, then the LST9, this list will be having these members 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 as its elements.